Honorable Rotimi Amechi, with 315 votes. The Senate President, Senator Ahmad Lawan, with 152 votes, was declared the winner following a painstaking voting exercise that saw the delegates of the party drawn from across the country casted their votes throughout the night, with collation sorting and counting carefully monitored by the delegates and members of the public. Earlier, aspirants, including former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Godswill Akpabio, Ekiti State Governor Dr. Kayode Fayemi, former governor of Ogun State, Senator Ibukunle Amosun, former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Dimeji Bankole, Mr. Ajayi Borofis, Mrs. Uju Onohen, as well as the Jigawa State Governor, Alhaji Badaru Abubakar, stepped down for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, maintaining that the former governor of Lagos State has the prerequisite experience and exposition in transforming the country's fortunes. In his acceptance speech, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu reiterated his commitments towards reconciling aggrieved members in ensuring victory for the party at the forthcoming general election and jointly move the country forward by exploring natural resources and human capital that is abundantly available across the country.
So the chairman of the party, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, appeared some weeks back that some newspapers and many people were ready to write obituary of this person. Yes, we put together and pull ourselves as a cat of 9 lives.
High point of the occasion was the presentation of the party flag to Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the All Progressive Congress Presidential Party flag bearer in the next general election by President Muhammadu Buhari. 23 presidential aspirants obtained expression and intent forms, but 13 were eventually cleared by the party screening committee. From the governor's office, Saya Ononide reporting.
Governor Adegboyega Oyetola said the commitment to improve healthcare services, which is part of the development agenda of his government since inception, is a holistic initiative that takes care of the people in all spheres. The governor was represented by his deputy, Mr. Benedict Elabi, vowed that his administration shall stop at nothing to ensure that mothers and children who are leaders of tomorrow always get the best health care in the state. He lamented the high rate of infant mortality in Nigeria, which he said called for concerted efforts as a collective responsibility. He, however, enjoined the healthcare workers in the state to continue to educate mothers and Osun on the need to judiciously utilize the government programs and facilities, including the 302 primary health care centers, Osun Health Insurance Scheme, provided by its administration, and many others to bridge the gaps between provision and facilities and their effective usage. The governor also stressed the need for mothers to ensure their effective performance in the area of exclusive breastfeeding, balanced and appropriate nutrition, regular check and stress management.
We are doing all this conscious that our mothers are the channel for the future that we seek, and that our newborn and our infants are the hopes and the face of the sustainable Osun that our development agenda is designed to build. Our administration development agenda is an holistic initiative that takes care of the people in all phases. After taking care of our newborn and children at the early stage of life, we usher them into our free education and free feeding programs in the elementary and secondary schools.
Earlier, in his address of welcome, the Special Advisor to the Governor on Public Health, Dr. Lashiji Olamiju, hinted that the Health Week program will afford mothers and children in the state to promote the physical and mental health through the administration of vitamin A to children of age 0 to 5. Other opportunities, according to him, include immunization against different diseases, HIV, and family planning counseling, as well as the women exercise.
Our immunization has actually received a good boost. We are no longer at the lower end. We are flying, we are higher flyer, if not the highest in Nigeria. So we appreciate your efforts in making this to happen.
In the separate remarks, the state representative of UNICEF, Mr. Solomon Israel, World Health Organization State Representative, Dr. Bello Ahmed, and the State Director for the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, represented by pharmacist Fasheyi Abiola, all commended Governor Adegboyega Oyetola's administration for its commitment in the state health sector, just as they promised the continued support of their agencies towards the healthcare service in Osun State. You're welcome back to the studio. It is still Sunday. Our first guest segment, any moment from now, shall be starting. We have our guest right seated here with us in the studio, Honorable Jamiu Olawumi. He is the special advisor to Governor Adegboyega Oyetola on education. But this morning, we'll be talking politics. He is a stalwart of the All Progressives Congress in Osun State. Also, we'll be talking politics this morning and not education. And before we go, we have a special report on the just concluded APC presidential primary that we shall be showing on our screen now. Let's enjoy it before we go back to Honorable.
Square in Abuja has been a beehive of activities as members of the All Progressives Congress APC converge for the 2022 convention, where they elected the presidential candidate of the party. The convention was characterized by intrigues, twists and turns, especially as issues ranging from zoning arrangements and consensus candidacies filled the air. The plot became more twisted when some aspirants started stepping down for their preferred candidates. 8 aspirants stepped down and supported Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. Lo and behold, hours after a keenly contested presidential primary election, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu polled 1,271 votes to emerge the flag bearer of the ruling All Progressives Congress. Tinubu defeated his closest rivals, former Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi, who polled 316 votes, and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who got 235 votes. Asiwaju Tinubu contested against 13 other aspirants, including Mr. Chukwuemeka Nwajuba, Pastor Tunde Bakari, Mr. Ahmed Rufai, Senator Rochas Okorocha, and Mr. Jack Rich. Others were Governor Ben Ayade, Governor Dave Umahi, Senator Ahmed Yarima, Dr. Ahmed Lawan, Governor Yahaya Bello, and Mr. Obunaya Onu.
This is to certify that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, having scored the highest number of votes cast, is hereby declared winner.
In his acceptance speech, Asiwaju Tinubu promised to run the ills of the country, tackle insecurity, unify Nigerians, and pursue prosperity of the country.
I choose politics over fine accountancy work papers. And it is only through this channel that can help build a team, unbreakable team, that will make Nigeria great. This is the beginning. First step taken, second step taken, and we are moving on. You are the great people of this country that you have built, that must join hands to build.
The event climaxed with the presentation of the APC flag to Asiwaju Bola Tinubu by President Muhammadu Buhari. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu of APC will now face the candidates of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Atiku Abubakar, and that of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, among other presidential candidates in next year's general election. Oluchi Amuda, OSBC News.
Yes, welcome back to the SMT studios, where our guest is seated right now. I am talking about Honorable Jamiu Olawumi, the special advisor to the governor on education. This morning, he's not here to talk education, but he's here to talk politics, and particularly the just concluded APC special convention, where the presidential candidate of the party emerged. Honorable Jami Olaumi, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure and a thing of joy to be here this morning, and especially talking about the presidential primaries that took place in Abuja. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Yes, you are an eyewitness of all that transpired. You witnessed the intrigues, you witnessed the permutations and calculations that attended the primaries of the APC. How did it go?
Thank you very much. Politics is very dynamic, is very deep, and I can say it's a science. You said political science as a course of study, but if you look at it, all the indices that go with scientific studies are present, are very inherent in political plannings. I was in Abuja as a sideline worker because I was not a delegate. But on the sideline, you hear more about the intrigues than the delegates. The delegate looks up to you to take advice or instruction. We are going this way, we are not going this way. That's what a delegate goes there to do. So at the overall thing, before we left for Abuja, since the beginning of the contest, when aspirants started to declare their interest, you agree with me that it is more than 3 months now when Asiwaju started, when he buried the cat. He was the first person to declare his intention. He went to Mr. President. He said, Mr. President, I want to run for your office. I want to step into your shoes. That's how he put it. But I will not step on your toes. Those are the more or less the parallelism that he said, he told the president. And ever since then, he started to galvanize, moved around the country. He visited even 3 states at a row, some 3 states that, and he was on his own private jet, so he was able to do all those things. And if you look at everything put together, you'll see that he has prepared for the race, more prepared than others. And when others started to join, we started to have some pimples that thinking that if this is coming to the south, why are so many southerners are in the race? Why wouldn't we agree? And the Yoruba leaders of thought, Chief Segun Oshoba, His Excellency Chief Bisi Akande and others waded into it when it was about to become a rough fight. And they called them to Lagos, but they also reasoned that let them go and contest. And at a point when there should be solidarity, they should not forget among themselves. And that's what played out. When it was the time for solidarity, you found people from the south stepping down for Asiwaju. It is not because Asiwaju is the leader of APC. It is because over 25 years, Asiwaju has built structure around the country. Even the highest contender in this that you are watching on the TV, the Excellency Yomi Oshibagi. So nobody from his camp will say this is the political consequence of the vice president. The vice president, yes, holds the 2nd seat in Nigeria. But when it comes to political mentoring, he's a mentee. He has not mentored anybody, even within the Ogun State that he claimed. You can't say this is the member of the State House of Assembly that was mentored by was Osinbajo before he became the vice president. So Osinbajo and Asiwaju are not in the same class of politics. Osinbajo is a mentee, whether it's the president or the vice president. You can't say across the Niger, this is what I've done. You cannot say in Sokoto, it's one I've made. We have sat down at a place where people who are not even of the party extraction will come to Asiwaju. I will give them what is good enough to be worth to so many people in Nigeria. Is somebody who has a structure across the Niger, who has not entertained barriers, whether religion, tribal, or political. So anybody in Nigerian politics today that has stayed for 25 years will admit that Asiwaju is not just a candidate. It's a titan, and it's going to be a very titanic battle when we get to the election.
Yeah, before I go to Tope, the ambition of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu was a kind of evolution. It evolved from his days as a senator,
Yes.
to the governor,
Yes.
to the national leader of the APC. And despite that, he went around consulting
Yes.
here and there,
Yes.
despite his larger than life image in Nigerian politics.
Yes.
While others were lazing away, he was working and working and working around the country. My question now is this: what should young politicians learn from Asiwaju Bola Tinubu?
Thank you very much. As a politician, you asked me what I've learned. Because I'm a young politician, and I will tell you what I've learned. I've learned that there's always a time to ask a question. Am I moving forward? Am I leaving? Am I staying? Those are the three issues that came up in this convention. At a point, His Excellency Senator Bikula Musu, His Excellency's Dr. Kayode Fayemi and Godswill Akpabio, and Dimeji Bankole, the former speaker, the right honorable speaker. At a point, they said, am I crossing this bridge? What is my capacity? Because you are contending with somebody who has capacity. In Nigeria, Asiwaju, as governor of Lagos State, started the Independent Power Project. He brought in Aaron for Lagos when he knew that what Lagos needed was stable power supply to grow the economy. He brought in Aaron. Unfortunately, Chief Obasanjo, the president, frustrated Aaron. Aaron is global power merchants. The group that so they hold substantial percentage of power supply in the US. We brought them to Nigeria. When GSM started, Asiwaju brought in the Econet. Econet that is now Airtel. Asiwaju brought in Econet, and they subscribed to the shares on behalf of Lagos State more than what we would say is Lagos property. And when there was the need for a country, a test for a country in war, how will you survive? How will you survive when your country goes into war? That's what he did when Obasanjo seized the Lagos allocation for local government. If a state goes into war, how will you survive? Asiwaju started with a light cap on his head to determine for Lagos, and that is what we have in Lagos today. Lagos is the second biggest economy in West Africa after Ghana. Lagos State controls more than close to what Ghana as an economy controls, and it started then. This is somebody who will fight for democracy, for good governance. That's why I went to trenches during Nadeku era. Ashwaju did a lot with his property in abroad to fund Nadeku. And that was what Secretary Dr. Khalid Fahimi was saying when he was making a speech while he was stepping down. He said Ashwaju is his mentor. It's his godfather. The same thing His Excellency Godswill Akpabio said, that's the man that had capacity. And we're talking about Nigerian economy now. Somebody who had not done anything should not be trusted. We are talking about how Ashwaju managed economy of Lagos, brought in international interest into Lagos. We have seen what he did, and we have economic challenges now. Who can fix it? It's not somebody who was chairman of National Economic Council as vice president, and all the monies in privatization of government interest and companies went off. Atiku had once ruled this country and sat as the chairman of National Economic Council. What was the economic implication for Nigeria? The vice president is there. Has he been able to do it? But we need somebody who has the magic wand, who can do it.
The Midas touch.
The Midas touch. And that's Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Sentiments apart, let me tell you this. People talk about religion. Has religion a place in good governance? When it rains, does it rain on houses of Muslim, the Muslim is the president? Or rain on the Christian homes when Obasanjo was the president? What all that Obasanjo did affected all of us, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Christian. All that Buhari is doing, whether it is positive or negative, affects all of us. So the issue of who is Ashiwaju? Ashiwaju is a round figure, a round character, who has the magic wand, who has the tenacity of purpose, who can challenge issues, and who is widely accepted across the globe. Ashiwaju has been attending the inauguration of American president since the days of Abacha. He will be given personal invitation to attend the inauguration of American president. He has the charisma and he has the wand.
Thank you, Honorable Laumi. Initial permutations, impressions was that once Ashwaju Tinubu is picked as the flag bearer of the APC, the party will implode. With his emergence now, do you see his emergence as dividing the party or uniting the APC?
Thank you very much. Ashwaju, in his inaugural speech, in his acceptance speech at the convention, said the party is a cat that has many lives. He did not even say 9. He said 9. He said even it's more than 9. Because this is a party, newspapers are chosen to be undertaker, waiting undertakers every time. Anytime we are doing something, they will say this, what we are doing will put an end to the party. They are doing an implosion. When we went for the convention for National Executive Council, they said the convention is going to be, it's a make or mar. I don't think, even when there was a consensus candidates almost all through coming to the office, all the interests were taken care of, and we have bonded better as a party. The presidential primary came 2 months, 12 days after the inauguration of the National Executive Council. Till that time, nothing in the business of the National Working Committee has been hindered by any sentiment or interest so far. Because we have put in place people who have the capacity. It's essentially good. Senator Abdullahi Adam, who was governor of Nasarawa State for 8 years. He was chairman of Governors Forum. And he has been in the Senate ever since he left office. Are you saying that person will not have the capacity to run the party? We are talking of Excellency Otunba Yolo Omishori, who is the National Secretary of the party. He was Deputy Governor, he was 2-term Senator, and Chairman of Appropriation Committee of the Senate in his second 4 years. And you know what Omishori stands for when you see him. Determined, faithful, honest to his cause. He has been running the Secretariat in a superb manner. Nobody has raised any eyebrow. So people now said, okay, if you have those people at the top echelon of the party, and you want to organize a national convention, and you have 24 governors, what interest would have destabilized the party? Already, the governors in the north, 14 of them, 13 said the presidential ticket should come to the southwest, to the south rather. And that is patriotic and nation building. Yes. Because they said in the interest of the peaceful coexistence and solidarity for Nigeria, the North has done 8 years. It's only a Nigerian who claim to be looking at national issues without dispassionately. That will say, okay, it is anybody that comes that you will vote for. You can't just vote for anybody. You vote because it is the time for a particular part of Nigeria to be president. And you have a lot of good hands across Nigeria. It should not be an hindrance. If you have a good hand in a particular region and has comfort, I don't think good governance is about sentiment.
Honorable Olawumi, we have many categories of Nigerians.
Yes.
We have tribalized Nigerians.
Yes.
We have the tribalized Nigerians.
Yes.
But Asiwaju Tinubu is in the class of untribalized Nigerians. What role did ethnic solidarity, ethnic belonging play in getting Asiwaju Tinubu to where he is today?
Yes, at the point when he started to grow in politics, people were watching with bias. Perhaps he was looking for opportunity in Yoruba land. It got to a point, even when he was to have his lecture, birthday lecture in Kaduna. He was to hold in Kaduna his 70th birthday, Kaduna Kano. There was an incident where people were killed. He had to postpone, he had to cancel the lecture. That is seeing a man who has feelings, who has compassion, who have empathy, who has love for other fellows. Everybody will say 70 years, my birthday, I just have to do it. But sacrifice it to honor those who were murdered by terrorists. Then you're talking about somebody who will attend to all issues across Nigeria as an individual and funding those issues as if he were a government. You're also talking to a Muslim who has pastor as his wife. Senator Tinubu is a pastor of Redeemed Christian Church of God. And if you even at the convention ground, when Asiwaju was making his address, he referred to the wife, Mama 60. That shows the level of camaraderie and humor that will go on in the home of the incoming president. You don't see an Asiwaju and start to think that this is a Muslim. Everybody sees Asiwaju as a leader. I've never seen anybody say, looking at Asiwaju, he thinks he's a Muslim. But you look at him as a leader, a potential leader of the country, which he's about to be. So, give it to him. He has his own sentiments. about things, but he has been keeping them passionate and personal to his chest. He has never come on board at any time talking about issues about religion. Instead, he promotes religion. He promotes religions, whether Christianity or Islamic religion.
Thank you, Honorable Laumi. The program is bilingual, but before we shift to Yoruba, the peaceful atmosphere which the convention held, how did the party achieve this? And how will you assess the convention in general?
The convention was peaceful, was rewarding, and was also a benchmark for the party. The convention, we achieved all that we achieved there because governors were there sitting within the delegates. They sit among their delegates. Every governor, you be with your delegates. And you can't have governors sitting down and not having a decorum. Most of these the delegates were in Abuja, for instance, for the first time. Some of them flew into Abuja, perhaps for the first time, or a lifetime achievement. Then some of them see the governor sitting among them for the first time. The governors that security will not allow you to reach is now sitting among you. You are singing and you are dancing together. So we have an arrangement. Then let me tell you what is very, very important here. It is the management of the election, the primary itself. Will you believe that the ballot paper we use are security code? That was why it was impossible for people who wanted to change the list of delegates behind the curtains. You should expect it. Then the contest people will try to cheat. Some people wanted to cheat. But by the time you have the ballot paper that has security code, you just place your phone and it confirms. Issues like that did not happen. There was a situation when the fellow was counting the ballots, made a mistake. Unanimously, we said it should start all over. So that nobody will develop white pimples about what becomes. And when they were counting the ballot of Ashwaju, when it was 300, the next 100 was to be counted, and the fellow mispronounced. It was taken away from him, and they started all over. The transparency, the management, and the fidelity that goes into it, made it a successful convention.
Yes, after the convention, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu paid surprise visits to the vice president. He visited the president too.
Yes.
And almost all other aspirants who really came into the contest, not to withdraw.
Okay.
With that visit, how will you project into the future of the party? Because after conventions of that nature, of that magnitude, there are bickerings, usually, that may eventually lead to the implosion of the party. But with the visit by the presidential candidate of the APC, how will you project into the future of the party, especially the immediate future before and after the election?
The fellow that had been to me a potential problem for this convention was His Excellency Yaya Bello of Kogi State, because he was the only one from the north who says there is no Tony, who says he will contest, and he contested. Asiwaju was with him yesterday. You know his remark after Asiwaju, when he was talking to the press. He said he had taken the lessons Asiwaju taught him. that he has registered as a student of Ashwani in the political school. So going round is to reconcile, build consensus for that, and make a stronger party of APC. Ashwaju too, you see him there in what you are watching, going to acknowledge the vice president. He was at the home of the vice president. Ordinarily, people would think somebody who nominated you to be vice president and you also stood against in an election, ordinarily should not come to. He went to his house because it is not a job of Ashwaju to lead Nigeria. We are only pushing Ashwaju forward to lead us. Everybody must line up behind him and provide the support required of a leader to win an election. So there's no issue here. Even the national chairman, who some people quoted as pushing forward Ahmed Lawan as the consensus candidate, Ashwaju was in his house. Governor Showolu led other members of the party to him the following day, so that he would not feel abandoned, because some newspaper had quoted him of saying Ahmed Lawan is the consensus candidate. And he said, let them bring where he wrote it, the speech he gave to them. So what has come now is everybody sees Nigeria as a project that must not be allowed to fail. And then they see the APC program as program that, if well managed, will deliver on, we have a lot of deliverables for Nigeria. And somebody who can tinker further with it from where the president, this current outgoing president has done, is actually Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So everybody wants a good Nigeria. Everybody wants a rewarding Nigeria. Everybody wants an egalitarian Nigeria. So this is the path, and everybody is following. So when they think that there are going to be an implosion, it is the figment of their imagination. So we are not going to implode.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Jamiu Olawumi. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa tí ẹ ní àǹfààní láti gbọ́ èdè ìbò tí a ti sọ látàárọ̀, a fẹ́ sọ Yorùbá fúngbà díẹ̀ kó tó di pa kúrò lórí ètò yìí. Àlejò wa lórí ètò yìí ni Honorable Jamiu Olawumi tó jẹ́ olùdámọ̀ràn pàtàkì fún gómìnà Adégbóyèga Oyètọ́lá lórí ètò ẹ̀kọ́. Ṣùgbọ́n ètò ẹ̀kọ́ kan ni ẹ wá sọ bí láàárọ̀ yìí, ọ̀rọ̀ òṣèlú ni gbogbo tó ṣẹlẹ̀ níbi ìpàdé àpapọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC níbi tí wọ́n ti yan olùdíje fún ipò ààrẹ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú ọ̀hún, èyí tó wáyé ìlú Àbújá láìpẹ́ yìí, òun ni àgbéyẹ̀wò láàárọ̀ yìí. Ẹ̀ńbàṣì bojú ògùn láàrin ó pàbílẹ̀, àwọn wà ń bẹ̀ ojú wọn ni a ṣe láti jẹ́ kẹ́yìn èèyàn gbọ́ gbogbo nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nílùú Àbújá láì fi ohunkóhun pamọ́ fún yín, torí gbogbo wa náà lọ́rọ̀ Nàìjíríà kan, gbogbo wa náà là á sì jọ mójútó tí yóò fi dáa. Honorable Olawumi, ẹ ti lọ Àbújá, ẹ ti dé, gbogbo wa la sì rí nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́hùn kedere pé báyìí lórí, ṣùgbọ́n àwọn kankan wà lábẹ́lẹ̀ tí ò yé àwọn èèyàn, bíi àwọn tí wọ́n juwọ́lẹ̀ fún Aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Tinubu. Tá a bá wò kí ló fa àjuwọ́lẹ̀ fún mi.
Ẹ ṣeun, akádúpẹ́ fọlọ́n pé bá a ṣe fẹ́ kórí bẹ́ẹ̀ náà lórí. Yorùbá, ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, Ọlọ́run jogún àwọn èèyàn pàtàkì, àwọn ọmọ akíkanjú ọmọ Yorùbá tí wọ́n wà tí wọ́n sì làkùnlàkà nínú òṣèlú. A ní gómìnà tí ó yẹ gbogbo ìlú, ó ti dìlú mọ̀ká. Àbẹ̀ tó wá jálága àwọn gbogbo gómìnà ṣé kìí ṣe ìlú mọ̀ká. Ẹ tó ṣe gómìnà tán tó tún padà lọ sí ilé ìgbìmọ̀ asòfin àgbà, ẹ mọ̀ pé ìlú mọ̀ká ni. Gbogbo eléyìí ló rò pọ̀ tí ó fi rí bó ṣe rí. Ẹ bá rántí nígbà tí àjọ elétò ìdìbò sọ pé káwọn ẹgbẹ́ kí wọ́n máa fa ọmọ òye lẹ̀, ìgbà yẹn ni Aṣíwájú ti lọ sí ọ̀dọ̀ ààrẹ Buhari tí wọ́n lè sọ fún ààrẹ pé ààrẹ o, bàtà tí o fẹ́ bọ́lẹ̀ èmi ni màá kẹsẹ̀ bọ̀. ṣùgbọ́n tí n bá kẹsẹ̀ bọ́ kì í ṣe pé màá fi tẹ̀ ọ́ mọ́lẹ̀ ìyẹn jẹ́ ní ìgbà náà aṣáájú ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ aṣáájú ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ pé ó fẹ́ di ààrẹ nígbà tí wọ́n sọ yìí ó ti ní lóṣù 3 ṣàṣàṣì mi ò rò pé ìpínlẹ̀ kan wà tí ò dé láti lọ láwọn èèyàn pé torí aṣáájú láwọn èèyàn ó ti kógo já lórí ìbánidọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ ìbánirìn àti àbáṣe láàrin gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà ìbáṣe Haúsá ni ìbáṣe Ìgbò ni ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ gbàdúrà sì jẹ́ pé wọ́n ti fún lóyè káàkiri tó jẹ́ pé ara wọn ni tó jẹ́ kó rọrùn sí ni pé kó tó di nígbà tí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn fẹ́ máa le díẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ṣe mọ̀ pé ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá mọ ọ̀rọ̀ téèyàn bá yan gúgúrú Yorùbá kó mọ súfè kí wọ́n má ra pé ṣe ní kó sẹ́nu àwọn àgbà nínú ẹgbẹ́ àwọn àgbà Yorùbá wọ́n pe gbogbo àti wọ́n díje láti ilẹ̀ Yorùbá síkù ọ̀rọ̀ lórí bó ṣe rí sẹ́ẹ̀fẹ̀ nìkan lẹ̀ wọ́n ní ó ti yá jù láti fẹ́ nìkan lẹ̀ kán jẹ́ káwọn ọmọ bá lọ ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n á sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ sí ń bá lọ yóò ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ búra yín ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ àbùkù síra yín ẹ sì gbọ́dọ̀ rágbà fún ẹ rí i pé mo sì rántí nígbà tí gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì gómìnà Káyọ̀dé Fáyemí tó ń wá sí ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun wọ́n á rí àwọn tí wọ́n ń lọ Àbújá wọ́n ní ẹ má dá síjà tí ò kàn yín kí n tó máa bọ̀ ń bí láàárọ̀ yìí mo sọ fásiwájú pé mò ń bọ̀ lọ́ṣun sẹ́wọ̀n para wọn ó balẹ̀ bó ṣe rí nìyẹn tó jẹ́ kí ó ṣe é ṣe nìyẹn tí wọ́n nígbà tá a dàbújá ètò tí wọ́n ti ṣe é lẹ̀ tí gómìnà Babúdú ti ṣe é lẹ̀ ìgbìmọ̀ ẹ̀ tó ti ṣe lórí ọ̀rọ̀ àpéjọpọ̀ tá a lọ ṣe yẹn ó jẹ́ kí ó hàn sí gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀yin tẹ̀ wọ́n adé sáré nǹkan tá a ṣe pé kò sí báyìí ń bẹ̀ dẹ́ pépà tán fi dìbò ó ní àmì ìdámọ̀ tí ó hàn sẹ́ni kankan àgbà tí ẹ bá fẹ́ yẹ̀wò pé ṣé lè ojúlówó ni àbí gbàrọ̀ gbogbo nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ẹ tún nígbà tí wọ́n ń ka ìbò wọ́n ń ka Mohammed Lawan ẹni ẹ ṣìkà wọ́n ní kó tún padà bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ohun tí yóò fi di awuyewuye wọ́n ní kó padà nígbà tán ti ka 100 nínú ìbò aṣíwájú tán fẹ́ máa ka èsì 100 kejì tí ó sì kẹrin lọ ẹni ẹ náà sì ká wọ́n gbà lọ́wọ́ wípé lómi ó débì kan wọ́n ní ìyàwó ààrẹ ó ní ẹ jẹ́ kí obìnrin náà kó kà ń bẹ̀ wọ́n mú obìnrin kan wá òun náà ka 200 nínú ìbò yẹn kó tó di pé wọ́n gbà fún ẹni tó máa parí ẹ̀ kò sẹ́ni tí ò kópa ló jẹ́ kó a ṣe àṣeyọrí ìparí làwọn ẹ̀dẹ́ kù.
ẹ ṣe ọ̀nà ìbọláwùmí kó tó di pé ìpàdé àpapọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC wáyé àwọn èèyàn ń rò àwọn èèyàn ń sọ wọ́n ní ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC kò ní pẹ́ fọ́ wọ́n bá ti mú aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Tinubu nísìnyí tá aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Tinubu ti wá jẹ́ ọmọ òye tí ó díje fúnpò ààrẹ láti inú ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú tó ń ṣèjọba lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ ṣé ẹ rí ìjáwé olúborí rẹ̀ bí eléyìí tí ó fọ ẹgbẹ́ ni àbí tí yóò jẹ́ kí ìbáṣepọ̀ tó gúnmọ́ túbọ̀ wà ní táwọn èèyàn yóò tẹ̀lé.
ẹ ṣeun nígbà tá a fẹ́ ṣe ìpàdé àpapọ̀ eléyìí tá a ṣe ní bí oṣù 2 àbọ̀ sẹ́yìn tá a fi yan alága ẹgbẹ́ akọ̀wé àwọn iléeṣẹ́ ìwé ìròyìn kan wọ́n ti sọra wọn di àwọn tí yóò bu yẹ̀pẹ̀ sí ìsìnkú ẹgbẹ́ APC pé abáṣetán yóò dàrú kò mọ̀ dàrú àmọ́ bára wa jà tá a fi dé àmọ́ fẹnu kò lórí ẹni tí ó ṣe olóyè kọ̀ọ̀kan mà ní ẹgbẹ́ tí ó bá farú gómìnà tẹ́lẹ̀ nípínlẹ̀ Nasarawa Abdullahi Adamu sẹ́nitọ̀ yẹn kalẹ̀ tó ṣe alága ẹni sọ pé bẹ́yìn ò mọ nǹkan tó ń ṣe Abdullahi Adamu ti ṣe gómìnà lọ́dún 7 nípínlẹ̀ Nasarawa ó ti wà nílé ìgbìmọ̀ asòfin àgbà ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹta rẹ̀ tàbí ẹ̀kẹrin ló wà kátólíkù àfi sẹ́yìn ọ̀pẹ́ ni yóò sọ lórí ẹgbẹ́ yìí ò ní mọ tó ń ṣe ẹgbẹ́ tí ó ní Ọ̀túnba Iyọ̀lá Omiṣore gẹ́gẹ́ bí akọ̀wé àgbà ẹni tó ti wà nílé ìgbìmọ̀ asòfin fọ́dún 7 tó ti ṣe gbákejì gómìnà rẹ̀ sẹ́ni kò ní máa àtúntò àti ìdarí ẹgbẹ́ àwọn èèyàn ń wo ẹ̀tàn àti iṣẹ́ táwọn gbẹnugbẹnu ń ṣe ni wọ́n fi rò pé tá a bá ti ṣèpàdé nǹkan láfọ̀ká àṣẹ àfọ̀ká o oṣù kejì àtọjọ́ 12 nígbà tá a dìbò tá a yan Aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Tinubu láti jọ àlàrúbá tá a ti wá ṣe tán ìbò ilẹ̀ ti gbọ́ ìjà ogun mi ò tẹ̀mí ò sí lánàá Aṣíwájú ṣèpàdé pẹ̀lú gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Kogi Yàyà Bello nígbà tí gómìnà yẹn máa jáde ó lóun ti di ọmọ iléèwé pé tíṣà àwọn sì ní Aṣíwájú jẹ́ níbi tó ń bọ́ òṣèlú dé àwọn gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ tó wà lókè ọ̀yà 13 nínú wọn ló sọ pé kí ẹni tí ó díje ààrẹ kó wá láti gúúsù orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ẹ mọ̀ pé ìtara àti ṣèjọba ta àwọn èèyàn ṣùgbọ́n ìtara kí orílẹ̀-èdè kó dúró ní ọ̀kan ní ìṣọ̀kan ò ní nǹkan tí àwọn gómìnà yẹn tí wọ́n fẹ́ bí àbádẹ̀ ní tara wa jẹ́ tí orílẹ̀-èdè bá fẹ́ dúró bó ṣe kó dúró tí wọ́n bá ṣe lọ́dún 8 lókè ọ̀yà kán ṣe lọ́dún 8 nísàlẹ̀ àwọn tó lè fún wa ní ìṣòro làwọn ẹ̀yà Ìgbò àwọn Ìgbò ṣùgbọ́n gbogbo wọn náà díje wọ́n rí tí mo rí ń bẹ̀ ni pé wọ́n tí ní èèyàn tí ó lágbára tó ní ohun tí wọ́n ń pè ní influence tó ní tí èèyàn ní láti ṣe olórí pátápátá nípa ìbáṣe láàrin gbogbo ẹ̀yà gẹ́gẹ́ bá Aṣíwájú ti tó bó ṣe rí ṣùgbọ́n àwọn náà díje wọ́n sì rí pé ohun kan tí wọ́n ń ṣe ìbò tí a dì wọ́n ṣe pé wọ́n sọ pé kí wọ́n lọ jókòó pé kán má dá sí wọ́n díje ìbò tí wọ́n ní ní òtó tí ìbá sì díje tí bò tó ní bá tó tàbí òtó ara ti dá tó ti sì gbé kìí ṣe pé wọ́n ṣe báyọ̀báyọ̀ ara ti dá so bó ṣe jẹ́ nìyẹn.
kò sí ẹ̀jẹ̀ tí tú ẹgbẹ́ mẹ́.
kò sí ẹ̀jẹ̀ tí tú ẹgbẹ́.
ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa láti ìṣẹ́jú díẹ̀ láti ń bá olùdámọ̀ràn pàtàkì fún gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun lórí ètò ẹ̀kọ́ sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ìpàdé àpapọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC tó wáyé nílùú Àbújá láìpẹ́ yìí níbi tí wọ́n ti yan ọmọ oyè fún ipò ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí tí ń ṣe Aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu. Mo rò pé ẹ ti rí ẹ̀kọ́ kan tàbí méjì kọ́ lọ́dọ̀ Alhaji Honorable Jamiu Ọláwùmí. It is on this note that we shall be releasing Honorable Ọláwùmí to go back to do other official assignments because the government of Oyetola work round the clock 24/7. They are always working and all for the progress of the state. Tope, please help me appreciate again.
Yes, we want to appreciate our Honorable Special Advisor to the Governor on Education, Honorable Jamiu Babatunde Olawumi. We appreciate her coming on SMT this morning.
Thank you.
And on behalf of the producer of the program, Oladayo Olanipeku, and the assistant producer, Jerola Davis, we say thank you for coming this morning.
Thank you very much.
Saturday morning treat continues in a moment. to Saturday Morning Treat on OSBC Television. Our second guest is seated right here in the studios, and I am talking about Comrade Wahid Lawal. He will be talking about June 12th and prospects. June 12th is not a date that will be mentioned in Nigeria, or somebody will be asking what and how, because it has become an integral part of our history, of our political history in this country, and it's not a date that can be wished away. Though there are many attempts to bury June 12th, but it has come to it has been realized that it's not a day to be buried and forgotten. Tope will introduce our guest, and we do the talking. Tope.
Yes, welcome back to the second guest platform on Saturday Morning Treats. Comrade Wahid Lawal is a human rights activist.
Yeah.
He's a member of civil society organizations.
I'm chairman of Civil Society Coalition.
Yes, and he is one of, like he rightly said before the program, he said he is one of the actualizer of June 12. Comrade Wahid Lawal, you're welcome to Saturday Morning Trade Studio.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Yes, comrade. When the election was annulled, that time, how did you feel?
Well, definitely, nobody feel good about the annulment, except we want to deceive ourselves, especially in this part of the country, because that is the first time an election will be held free, fair, and credible. There is no violence, no commotion, nothing at all. So before the military come with that annulment statement. Yes, we all know, before 1993, June 12th is just a day in the calendar. It's just a day, like every other day before 1993. But on that particular day, Nigeria went out, irrespective of their religion, their ethnic, their color, or their sentiment. If Abiola can defeat Bashir Tofa in Kano, it shows Nigeria are ready then for a true democratic rule. So we are happy that Abiola has won this election before the annulment came. So we feel bad, and ever since then, that is why we are agitating that that day must not be wished away. And today, we thank God that in the last 3 years, from 2018, the current regime has now named the day as the real democracy day in Nigeria.
Yes, that brings me to the next question. Before now, June 12th was not recognized as Democracy Day, and the fight for the actualization of June 12th was intensified by those who were fighting it. That if you cannot make Abiola president when he was alive, and when he died, if he was not immortalized the right way, or named as a president of this country who was duly elected, then June 12th must not be a day that will be wished away like that. That's another struggle. Now that it has been the day has been recognized, how do you feel?
I feel happy. We feel good, but we still need more to it. Yes, we have recognized that day as the real democracy day. We've recognized Abiola as the winner of that election and conferred him with the highest honor, GCFR. All the entitlement that I do for president should be paid to his family. That is what we are clamoring for now. You see, a situation like this, we just have to appreciate whoever that make that sacrifice for our land to be peaceful. Abiola has the wherewithal to make this country ungovernable for whoever here, but he chose to pursue it in a very decent way. And ever since then, we have been championing the cause that they must recognize it. We thank God that when we came to this democracy, the chief minister was the governor of this state. They didn't recognize June 12th. They only recognized May 29th as their democracy day. Oyola came, they do the same thing, but we are still championing our own cause. But when Arabishola come, he recognized the day and we are celebrating it. Oyola is continue in that platform now. So what we are saying is that all the entitlement that was due for president for that 4 years should be given to his family. So that will show the appreciation that the government recognizes him and they pay all his entitlement.
Okay.
Yes, Comrade Lawal. What were the events that actually led to June 2 then? I don't know, and perhaps some people at home don't know.
Well, you see, the events that led to June 12 are many. Abiola has been traversing the nook and cranny of Nigeria for long. He has been paying bills in the north, in the south, in the east, in the west. So, he wanted to be president in 1983, the Sean A. He continued his work. So, after this, he came out in 1992 to be the flag bearer of SDP. And he said he consulted the president then, that the evil genius, IBB. And he said, no problem, go and contest. And that is how he came out. And they went to Jos and he won the primary.
Yeah.
For the first time, they pick a Muslim ticket. The Southerner, the Easterner, and the Westerner, they don't even care about it. Abiola Kingibe, they don't worry. And they voted emas for them. But IBB said there are some cabal that they will kill him and kill Abiola. That was the reason why he annulled it. He's a coward for saying that one. How can you, as a president, fear that you will be killed because you do the right thing? That is a coward statement. But we thank God that ever since that struggle, we continue fighting the cause. Today, we are celebrating June 12. We are not just protesting again. We are celebrating. We have turned June 12 to a festival now. We will go to the street to sensitize our people, and after that, we now go to the hall to do a lecture. That shows we have moved upward. But what we are saying is that government should let the younger generation understand what happened on June 12th. So that it will serve as a lesson to others.
Yes, June 12 had so many enemies then, and it had too many friends. So many enemies, too many friends. Be that as it may, the masses of Nigeria were still waiting to have another June 12. Is it possible to have another June 12 in this country that will not be annulled, that will be generally acclaimed the way the June 12, 1993 election was acclaimed, and how do you think we can achieve this?
Well, we have heavily monetized our democracy in Nigeria today. I must tell you the plain truth. We have heavily monetized our democracy, so that the best candidate may not even emerge again. So trying to achieve another June 12 may be a long dream, because what happened on June 12, people came out voluntarily from their house to elect their leader. Today, people they only go into their house and mobilize people. Come and vote the Boko Sebe. So those are the problems that our democracy has confronted now. But be it as it may, if we have a good law that can regulate our system, we can still achieve that desire.
Thank you, comrade. The impression that Obasanjo presidency then will pacify the Yorubas after the death of Chief MKO Abiola. Did we really, the Yorubas achieve this impression?
Obasanjo is agent of imperialists. He's the agent of the northern people. You know, then, the northern people, they want to pacify the West, the South Ghana. And that's why they give us the two candidates, Falai and Obasanjo. And the northern people believe Obasanjo will do their biddings. And that is why Obasanjo doesn't win the election in the Southwest. But he won the presidency by the vote of the North. So you don't expect Obasanjo to do the bidding of the West. So, and that is why Obasanjo and a bad man cannot recognize Abiola for 8 years. And Buhari, a northerner, now recognize the struggle of Abiola and recognize the day as Democracy Day. It shows the difference between the two of them. The two of them are military men. Obasanjo is a retired military man. Buhari is a retired military man. Obasanjo doesn't even like his skin men. But Buhari do the needful. So to say that they want to use Obasanjo to pacify the Yorubas, I don't believe it.
Yes, Nigerians have all come out to say that June 12th is a special day in the history of this country. And now that the government has recognized it, what next?
Well, I've said it earlier on. If we are talking of the issue of June 12th, in Osun here, we should recognize the contribution of the likes of Comrade Amitolu Shitu, Goke Butika, and many others, Wale Adebisi, Gbenga Osode, and many others like that. They stood their ground that we must achieve this. Even after the death of Abiola, we still continue the struggle.
Maybe I should put this one. What did you people who are trying for the actualization of June 12 suffer in the hands of the military then? Nigerians need to know.
Well, precisely on June 4, 1998, we are doing the remembrance of Kudrat Abiola, who was killed 2 years ago then. Kudrat Abiola was killed on June 4, 1996. On June 4, 1998, we are doing the remembrance, protesting around the town. Then the police came, dismantled the process, and eventually arrest 5 of us. Amitolu Shitu, my humble self, Goke Butika, Zikiola Uzamat, and Femi Williams. We were taken to the police headquarters, detained there, later transferred to the state CID. We were keeping in a cell. They even created the impression that they were bringing in some notorious criminal. That was the impression given to those who are in the cell there. From getting there, and when some of the detainees ask us questions, and we explain to them, they're now cursing the police. What they were telling us is quite different from what you are saying. The other day, when notable people are now visiting us, the detainees now say, so you are so important like this? Professor Amato Yorode, Senator Ayofasoni, and many other people like that came to visit us there. On the eve of our being transferred to Maiduguri on the instruction of Abacha died. Because we were informed on the night of 7th of June that they have instruction that they should transfer us to Maiduguri. But Abacha died overnight on the 8th. So, and we have to spend another 2 weeks before we are eventually released on the 19th of June. But be that as it may, we are undoubted because we believe what we are clamoring for is a just cause. So we continue agitating for the right thing. But thank God today, we've achieved our aim. But the next level we are saying is that they should pay all the entitlement to the family of Abiola. to show appreciation to that family for the sacrifice the family has made to make Nigeria one.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. There was an interim government then. Interim government of What passed that interim government?
See, the interim government was put together in a bid to rubbish the June 12th. But does it achieve it? It doesn't. So recently, when erudite lawyer Chief Afebala said after Buhari finished, they should create an interim government, Justice Dolapo Akesanya has ruled that interim government is a nullity. So we should not think about it at all, because a court of competent jurisdiction has ruled, and that gives way for Abacha to come in as head of state then. So nobody to think about interim government again, because it is a contraction that was brought to rubbish June 12th, but it doesn't achieve his aim. It falls like a pack of cards.
Yes. What gave you the impression that the military government will yield to your protests and others, and other means of achieving June 12th? Because it was always protest after protest then, without caring whose ox is God, up to the time it has been recognized. Yes, we know that with continuous struggles, God may look into that direction, but you suffered a lot. When that day was recognized, how did you feel? And what gain were you expecting for protesting every time on June 12th?
Well, first and foremost, what's doing at all? What's doing well? What I believe is that an injury to one is an injury to all. And if I missaid, stand up for what is right, even if you are standing alone. On this issue, we are not standing alone. It is not protest alone. We are protesting. When the military roll out their times, we call for a sit at home at a point. So it is a method that we always defy at times. But thank God, at least, for doing what we believe it is the best for our people. We achieve our aim.
And what did you lose? Because there are some losses that will go along with the struggle. What did you lose during the struggle?
To me, I must tell you, I lost nothing. Because whatever you believe you are doing, whatever loss that you may incur there, is still part of part of the sacrifice you have to make the Nigeria the system work. You don't expect a win-win situation always. You have to put in something. You lose some and you gain some. But at the end of the day, because we intensify our effort to make sure that the day was not forgotten like that, we having won that day as a democracy day, I lost nothing and I won all.
There were a series of events attached to June 12th. Then, even some are still on till now. As those events been solved now in Nigeria? There were a series of events attached to June 12th, like problems, challenges. Has it been solved now?
Definitely not all. In fact, we have a complicated issue now. You see, by June 12th, we have an option A4 method of voting. You came out and queue. This time around, it is
the other way around.
The other way around. So that gives way for the heavily monetized of our system that we are talking about. And that doesn't give us the best candidate to win election. So it shows that there is difference between June 12th and what we are operating now.
Yes, you have succeeded in getting Juneteenth recognized? Has your protest ended?
Definitely not. Definitely not. When we are protesting the other time, we are protesting for the actualization, recognition of that day. Today, we are celebrating the recognition of that day. So there are two different things entirely. While we are struggling to get the recognition. Now we are celebrating the recognition of that day. So the protest is not ending.
So you are not protesting against anything again?
I said we are protesting tomorrow. Tomorrow is June 12th. We are starting the protest on Mayeto Road. There are a lot of things that need the issues to be raised. The insecurity is there. We should not wait until those people that go to our last week killing people in the church that I'm talking about. We should tell the government it is the responsibility of government to provide adequate security for the life and property of a citizen. So we must continue agitating for a better society.
But some people are saying it is almost 30 years that you've been on this struggle, that people like you should be tired of agitating for this, protesting here today, protesting year in, year out. Are you tired?
Definitely, I will not be tired. Why? What I'm doing is what I am convincing about. What, you see, except the event that is unfolding in Nigeria is no more there. Recently now, police are killing people, even in Osun here. Innocent people. So we should not keep quiet in the face of all that humiliation and insecurity. So I won't be tired until we have a just and egalitarian society.
Comrade, nísìnyí a wá sọ èdè àbínibí ohun tá a sì sọ náà ní ìdìbò June 12 ọdún 1993 tí olóyè Kashimawo Ọláwálé Abíọ́lá tí wọ́n jáwé olúborí, ṣùgbọ́n tí ìjọba ológun nígbà náà tí wọ́n fagilé. Nísìnyí báyìí ó ti pé 30 ọdún tí a ti ní ìjọba ọdún 29 ẹ má bínú tá a ti ní ìjọba alágbádá yìí tí June 12 tó ti ń wà tó sì ń ṣe ìwọ́de, ká má pè ní ìfẹ̀hónúhàn, wọ́n ń ṣe ìwọ́de láti ṣàmì ọjọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀, àti àwọn ìjọba tó ti mọrírì ọjọ́ ọ̀hún àtàwọn ìjọba tí kò mọrírì rẹ̀. Gbogbo ẹni comrade Waheed Lawal tí wọ́n jẹ́ ajàfẹ́tọ̀ọ́ ọmọnìyàn wá sọ láàárọ̀ yìí. Comrade ní yóò láwọn kankan tó ṣokùnfà June 12 nígbà náà lọ, kí làwọn nǹkan tó fà?
Ṣe rí, kò sí bí okùn ṣe lẹ́gùn tó tí ò níbi tó ti ń tà tí ń fà bọ̀. Olóyè MK Abíọ́lá jẹ́ ọ̀jẹ̀mí oníṣòwò tó sì ti ṣe ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ oore fáwọn èèyàn káàkiri. Bó ṣe ń ṣe fún Haúsá ló ń ṣe fún Ìgbò ló ń ṣe fún wọn nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Kò sí ibi tí ò ṣe sí, gbogbo iléèwé yunifásitì tó wà káàkiri Nàìjíríà gbogbo ẹ̀ ló náwó jáde. Gbogbo àwọn ẹlẹ́sìn jẹ̀sìn, ẹ̀sìn mùsùlùmí, ẹlẹ́sìn kìrìsìtẹ́nì, gbogbo wọn Abíọ́lá ti ń ṣọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ oore fún. Ní Nàìjíríà Abíọ́lá mọ̀ pé òun fẹ́ díje, àwọn Umaru Dikko sọ fún un pé kì í ṣe ẹ̀tọ́ yín. Kò torí ẹ̀ sọ pé akílẹ̀ àwọn eléyìí bá wọn sọ, ó tẹ̀síwájú nínú oore tó ń ṣe. So nígbà tó di ọdún 1992 tí ààyè fẹ́ ṣí sílẹ̀, Abíọ́lá lọ bá General Babangida pé ṣé kíní yìí ó jẹ́ ṣíṣe, ó sì fi dá lójú pé lọ jáde lọ díje. Fúngbà àkọ́kọ́ nígbà tí wọ́n dé Jos, wọ́n dìbò abẹ́nú ẹgbẹ́ Social Democratic Party, Abíọ́lá jáwé olúborí. Nítorí ìṣesí olóyè Abíọ́lá káàkiri Nàìjíríà, àwọn èèyàn gbàgbé ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀yà, ẹ̀sìn tàbí ìránṣìràn. Bó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé Abíọ́lá àti Kingibe ni wọ́n jọ díje tó jẹ́ mùsùlùmí méjì. Abíọ́lá fi ẹ̀yìn Bashir tó fà bẹ́lẹ̀ ń Kánò. Tí inú àwọn ẹ̀sìn lò pé pẹ̀lú bọ́rọ̀ ṣe rí yìí o, Abíọ́lá jáwé olúborí nílẹ̀ Haúsá, nílẹ̀ Ìgbò, nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, kí wọ́n kéde lókù ní àwọn ológun ìgbé ìṣe wọn dé tí wọ́n láwọn fagilé èsì ìdìbò yìí. Èyí bá wa ó bá yẹn nínú jẹ́ púpọ̀ torí pé tí wọ́n bá sọ pé ìbò kan dáa jù, ìbò ọjọ́ 12 oṣù kẹfà ọdún 1993 ìbò tó dáa jù.
láti ìgbà náà ni ẹ ti ń fẹ̀hónú hàn tẹ́ ń ṣèwọ́de gbogbo ìgbà kódà gbogbo ìgbà tẹ́ ń ṣèwọ́de o kí làwọn àǹfààní tẹ́ ẹ rí kí sì làwọn kan tẹ́ ẹ pàdánù nígbà náà.
ṣe rí kò ṣeé ṣe kéèyàn fẹ́ béèrè fáwọn ẹ̀tọ́ kan kó má fara kásá àwọn nǹkan kéékèèké. Wọ́n mú wa tì mọ́lé, wọ́n fìyà jẹ wá ní ọjọ́ tí wọ́n mú wa ní ìdí ìṣẹ̀kẹ̀ àwọn ọlọ́pàá tó mú wa àwa márùn-ún wọ́n mú Amitolu Shitu, èmi, Gòkè Bùtìkà, Síkírù Láì Osama àti Fẹ́mi Williams. Àwọn tá à ń lọ pọ̀ ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n ti kọ́kọ́ fi tíágà tú àwọn ìlú kan tó kó àwa márùn-ún. Nígbà wọ́n kó wa lọ sọ́wọ́ àgọ́ wọn lókè ìfíà láti bẹ̀ wọ́n kọ́ lọ sí Ayétòrò. Nígbà tá a fi dá Ayétòrò wọ́n ti sọ pé àwọn ìgárá tó le làwọn ń kó bọ̀. Nígbà tí wọ́n fi kọ́ wa débẹ̀ bẹ́líìtì irin wáyà náà ni wọ́n fi ń lù wá nígbà tó jẹ́ pé nígbà tí a bá lè yẹn lọ digun jalè tàbí yẹn páyì ni wọ́n ṣe ń ṣe wá. Ṣùgbọ́n nígbà ìgbẹ́yìn nígbà wọn kó wa débẹ̀ tàbí àwọn èèyàn tó wà bẹ́ẹ̀ pé kí lẹ ṣe kí tàtàrà yìí fún wọn wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní ṣépè fáwọn ọlọ́pàá yìí. Ọ̀tọ̀ dijọ́ kejì tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní rí àwọn èèyàn tó ń wá bàbá Ayọ̀ Fásánmi, ọ̀mọ̀wé Ọmọ́tóyè Olóròdé àti gbogbo àwọn èèyàn ńláńlá tí wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní yọjú pé sẹ́yìn pàtàkì tó báyìí lẹ́yìn yẹn ni wọ́n ṣe yín báyìí lánàá bó ṣe rí nìyẹn. Nígbà tó di ọjọ́ keje ọ̀gágun Abacha wọn lọ sọ wá pé ká kó gbogbo àwọn tó bá wà láti mọ̀lẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ká máa kó wọn lọ Maiduguri. Ṣùgbọ́n nígbà bírò tèèyàn ṣiṣẹ́ ìtọ̀ náà èrò tí ẹni pé ká kó wa lọ sí Maiduguri tá à mọ kí náà fẹ́ lọ fi wá sí Ọlọ́run gbẹ̀ ní Abacha lọ́jọ́ kẹjọ oṣù kẹfà náà. So lẹ́yìn ọjọ́ mẹ́ọ̀kànlá àbíjọ́ méjìlá la ṣe gba ìdáǹdè. Lẹ́yìn èyí èrò wọn ni pé báwọn ṣe fara níwáyé a wò pé kí la ń gbà lómi nìkan a sinmi ṣùgbọ́n ìgbàgbọ́ tiwa ni pé báwo la á ṣe ní àwọn yóò ṣe jáde dìbò tá a ṣe owó aláàtàwọn rẹ̀ ṣe táwọn alẹ́ akẹ́fagilé bẹ́ẹ̀ kó sì mọ́ ẹ lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ àwa ò nígbàgbọ́ nínú èyí o látó fi tẹ̀síwájú nínú àwọn ìrìn àjò yìí bó ti jẹ́ pé ńgbà tí ìjọba alágbádá ilé bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ọdún 1999 àwọn Ọbásanjọ́ ní May 29 ìjọ tó búra fáwọn àwọn ọmọ ìlú democracy day Ọbásanjọ́ tó jẹ́ ọmọ ìlú Abẹ́òkúta gẹ́gẹ́ bí Abíọ́lá ó kọ̀ láti gbàpọ́jọ́ 12 oṣù kẹfà lọ́jọ́ tó yẹ kó jẹ́ àyájọ́ ìjọba àwa ara wa ṣùgbọ́n nítorí báwọn ò dákẹ́ a ò yé báwọn Ọbásanjọ́ kọkàndínlọ́gbọ̀n tí wọ́n tó bá lọ́jọ́ 12 wọ́n tún bọ́ta pẹ̀tọ́ àlọ́jọ́ ìfẹ́ lọ́jọ́ ìyọ àwọn ara wa lẹ́yìn ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀.
Ọbásanjọ́ yìí ni àwọn èèyàn rò pé ìjọba rẹ̀ ó tu àwọn Yorùbá nú lẹ́yìn tó lóye Abíọ́lá ti jáde láyé.
Ó yé mi àti yé pé tọ̀ ìrẹsẹ̀ àwọn ará òkè Ọya ni Ọbásanjọ́ torí pé Ọbásanjọ́ àti Fáláì ni wọ́n jọ díje ńgbà náà àwọn alágbára òkè ọ̀yà ìgbà pé tọ̀ ẹni táwọn lè rí lò lọ́básanjọ́ so ìjọba Ọbásanjọ́ ò lè Ọbásanjọ́ wà kì í ṣe kó fẹ́ sìn àwa.
Ṣé ìfẹ̀hónú àti ìwọ́de lórí ọ̀rọ̀ June 12 ti tán náà nù?
Ó dájú pé kò lè tán ṣe rí nígbà tó rọ̀ June 12 bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìfẹ̀hónú ẹ̀ ń gbà yẹn ni láti sọ pé àníṣe ọjọ́ yìí o afẹ́kẹ́ ẹ gbà pé ọjọ́ tí Nàìjíríà panupọ̀ sọ pé ìjọba àwarawa o
àwọn
ló fìdí múlẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ yìí. Nígbà tó di 2018 tí ìjọba Buhari sọ pé àwọn gbà o pé ọjọ́ yìí lóòótọ́ ló yẹ kó jẹ́ ìjọba àwarawa n tó kà ní pé ayẹyẹ ló kù a ti ṣe jàgùdù a máa ṣàyẹyẹ ìrántí ọjọ́ náà torí pé kó tó di ọdún 1993 ọjọ́ kan lásán lọ́jọ́ 12 jẹ́ inú kàlẹ́ndà ṣùgbọ́n láti ọdún 1993 lọ́jọ́ yìí ti di ọjọ́ mọ́nìgbàgbé nínú ìtàn ìṣèlú orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà.
Kí wàá ní kókó tẹ wá fẹ́ mú jáde nínú ìfẹ̀hónúhàn ìwọ́de lọ́dọọdún tẹ máa ń ṣe táwọn ìṣòro yẹ kó ti rẹ̀ yìí láti gbà.
ẹni tí òfin lè rẹ̀ wá ni pé Yorùbá wọn ní kíníkan òye kíníkan ní kò yí òsinmi ogun oríṣiríṣi ìṣòro òkòtánlẹ̀ ọjọ́ wo ni àwọn agbébọn lọ káwọn mọ́ ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì ní Ọ̀wọ̀ ojúṣe ìjọba sì ní láti pèsè ààbò fún ẹ̀mí àti dúkìá ará ìlú gbogbo ìjọba kíjọba tí ò bá lè pèsè ààbò fẹ́mi àti dúkìá aráàlú kì í ṣèjọba àwọn ìdíwọ̀n wọ̀nyí láàfin máa bọ́ta níjọba létí pétọ̀ òní ní àyájọ́ ọjọ́ ìwòjọba àwa ara wa lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí o ẹ pèsè ààbò fẹ́mi àti dúkìá ara wa ọlọ́pàá ẹ má pa àwọn èèyàn bí ẹ pàjábọ̀ ọ̀gùn mọ́ ẹ má máa ní àwọn èèyàn lára mọ́ ìjọba ẹ̀yin náà ṣe tó tó àti tó yẹ gbogbo àwọn nǹkan wọ̀nyí làá máa fi ṣe ìrántí fún ìjọba tá a fi ṣàyẹyẹ ọjọ́ yìí.
Thank you, comrade.
ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa wọ́n ní lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ́gbẹ̀wá ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ́gbùṣe adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ comrade Wahid Lawal. We sincerely appreciate your coming and contribution on the program, and we believe that Nigeria will be a better place for us all as time passed by. With the passage of time, things will be better for us in this country as we pray. June 12th has come to stay, as you have said, and every year we will continue to remember June 12th, especially now that the federal government has recognized the date as the Democracy Day. And even the state government, also state government was ahead of the federal government in recognizing June 12th. Yes, it is on this note that we shall be calling it a day on this segment of the program, where we discuss June 12th.
Yes, so we'll be releasing Comrade Wahid Lawal now to pave the way for another segment sponsored by Living Above Poverty organization.
Thank you. All right. I want to know your use of
at LAPO are committed to poverty eradication. We equally believe that the battle against poverty requires the effort of everyone.
Good morning to you and welcome to Bridging the Gap, a program that comes your way from Lift Above Poverty organization LAPO. I'm Patience Nagumwana. I'm very happy to be here on Bridging the Gap. This morning we are going to be talking about how we can reposition our primary healthcare system to improve healthcare delivery and also to be able to attain the much talked about universal health coverage. And with me this morning I have Dr. Esiegbe Feomo. Doctor, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Dr. Esiegbe is a public health expert, and with him we are going to be talking about how we can reposition our primary healthcare system. But before we continue, we are going to take the LAPO message. Please stay with us. Welcome back from Lapo Message. All right, doctor, let me go straight by asking what we mean by primary health care when we say primary health care.
Okay, in the layman's term, primary health care is the first level of contact for individuals and communities with the national health system. Is the basic level of health care. We have primary health care, secondary health care, tertiary health care. So in the primary health care is the health care that reaches out to our people first in the community.
Okay, so why is it important to improve the primary health care system or the primary health care system?
Okay, it's important to improve the primary health care system because the access to health care is easier for most people in the community to get to the primary health care than the secondary and the tertiary level of care. The primary health care is involved in a lot of services that include promotive, preventive, curative, and rehabilitative health services at the level of the community. And if this primary health care is improved, we'll be able to attain maybe close to or get universal health coverage, get people to be able to access health care at anywhere they live.
Okay, what are the challenges hindering effective delivery of PHC services, especially in Nigeria?
Okay, all right, thank you very much. In Nigeria, I think a lot of people don't understand primary health care and its role in society. Primary health care, like I said initially, that is the first contact, as the level of contact the individuals and communities have with the national health system. In various communities, in villages, where you have primary health centers, health posts, and clinics, these are the places where people can first access care. Now, a lot of people don't have a misunderstanding what the primary health care stands for. That's why you see a lot of people go to and crowd the tertiary health facilities we have, crowd the secondary health facilities we have, when the health needs they have can easily be sorted out at the level of the primary health care. So one of the constraints we have is that people don't get to understand what the primary health care entails, what they can get there at the level of the primary health care. So they tend to feel that primary health care is for the downtrodden. No, it's not so. In many industrialized nations of the world, you probably will not be able to get contact with the tertiary health facility until you go through the referral system through the primary health care, secondary health care, and the tertiary health care. So, like I said, one of the issues is misconception by members of the society. Another issue is that the issue with funding. Healthcare is not cheap. So for you to provide affordable healthcare for members of the public in the primary healthcare level, you need to be able to fund these primary healthcare facilities. You need to employ medical personnel to man these healthcare facilities. You need to train them. So government needs to be able to fund these institutions, train health personnel that will man these places. A lot of people may not want to go to rural communities or to go to hard-to-reach areas because they may feel that what they require to live a good life, maybe constant power or good roads, may not be there. So they require incentives. So government may need to give incentives to health care personnel to be able to keep them in those places.
All right. So how do we reposition the PHC system for maximal and optimal delivery?
Okay, it flows from what I just said now that for you to have a health system at the primary health care level that delivers the goods to the public, you must have dedicated staff who are working in this primary health care, health educating our people, having community outreaches, and delivering medical services to the people at that level. Also, you need to have the primary health care system funded. You need to get vaccines and to carry out the immunization activities they require funding, family planning resources, to have equipment that will be used in primary care services in the primary health care level. You need to equip those primary health care centers with facilities that these health personnel will utilize in providing healthcare services to those who seek care at the primary health care level. And that's one of the reasons why people feel that the primary health care is for the downtrodden, because they probably don't have some of these health facilities that they require to provide services to them at that level. So beyond employing adequate manpower to man the primary health care facilities and providing equipment at that level, we also need to educate our people about the services that are provided at those primary health care facilities. Because if our people get to know that they can access those services at that place at literally very cheap costs, they probably will utilize those facilities more.
But some of these facilities are located, their locations are, is quite a distance from where people live. How do you marry this to the issue of provision of optimal services?
Okay, well, ideally, the primary health facilities are supposed to be the closest to where people live. That, in fact, maybe some health posts, for instance, every village or every community should have a health post. A group of villages, communities should have health clinics, and then maybe wards. Every political ward should have a primary health center. So if you see that, most times you may not need to take maybe transportation to visit these health facilities. There are facilities that are closest to where the people live and that they could even just walk to and access care at any time. But if they find out that there is no manpower to run 24-hour services effectively, then you find out that our people may not be utilizing there. Then you find them crowding out the secondary and the tertiary health facilities around.
Okay. Let's also look at the role of the government, civil society, NGOs in ensuring that, and other stakeholders in ensuring that Nigeria is able to, to meet up with this the universal health coverage, which is the basis for the establishment of the primary health care system.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Now, everybody has a role to play.
Yes.
CSO, the government, individuals, corporate organizations. Now, the most important factor in the primary healthcare service delivery is the personnel that are there. Now, we have the doctors, the nurses, the community health officers, community health extension workers. We have other health assistants and health volunteers that work in the primary healthcare. Now, we need to be able to take a census of the manpower we have and help maybe redistribute from areas where we have surplus to areas of need. And then we need to encourage these health workers so that they don't all migrate and leave the country and leave our primary healthcare system in shambles, or migrate into the tertiary and secondary healthcare system and leave our primary healthcare in shambles. Because that's the basis, that's the foundation for effective health systems management in any country. And we also need to look at the facilities for these health primary health facilities. The NGOs and CSOs can collaborate with government, can partner with government. Government may not be able to do everything, so they can partner with government where there are deficiencies in the primary health care facilities. They can either partner with government or collaborate with government to ensure that some of those gaps are met or filled. And then another thing that is very important apart from this collaboration is funding programs, funding for staff remuneration, and then the information, the data we get from the primary health system can help government to plan, to make policies that will enable the primary health care system to be more viable and more useful to society.
All right, let's quickly take a break here to bring you the faces of Lapo. And when we come back, we'll be looking at the way forward. Please stay with us.
My name na Patience Omoregi. My business address na 33 PTI Road opposite Baptist Church Efo Market. My occupation na tailoring, number 1. Then number 2, I sell fabric too. I be Lapo client. I don join this Lapo for about 13 years now. Since then, Lapo don do so many things for my life. I don use am to do so many. Although people dey condemn am say Lapo money na dem no dey take am do better thing. To be sincere, I don collect this Lapo money when my daughter get admission. I use am take run, and na through this my business I take pay the money without say 2 years no hear am. And dem no come my house one day come knock my door say where our money. And another thing again, I don use this Lapo money take buy things for this my store. Now I use to buy that Lapo buy this weaving machine for me, this very one. Then the sewing machine where you dey see for there, so that industrial sewing, na Lapo money I still take buy am. I collect special loan. I use am take go buy am. This money don do so many things for my life. The way I tell God since when I join am say may I not see wetin go bring disgrace to me. God has been helping me. He see me through. He not make me see disgrace for inside up to today. So now wetin I really get be that. I don train 2 children for inside, although shall not be only this money I take train them, but this one still join. He join. Because by the time when I collect this money, take and pay my pikin admission. When I sell from the market, when I dey do or sell from my handwork, I take and pay am. I believe na Lapo still do am for me. That's my. So I dey tell people say when una dey say Lapo money no, you carry Lapo money use am take go market, you go buy food stuff. You carry am go market, you go use am take buy wrapper. Tell me how you want to pay the money back. I really appreciate them for giving me loan without knowing my village. Just question, they will say bring guarantor. The guarantor when they bring, they don't know a house. Apart from say maybe they won't give us special loan. They don't know a house. They don't know where for the sale. They just give me money. They say me I take go they do my business. That trust when they get from where they get, that mind when they get when they take release the money for me, for us, because we many, not be only me. When they take give us, no, take they manage our life. I appreciate them. Now God go bless them. God will continue to they bless them. To give them more wisdom to carry the company forward. Now what I really get for them is that.
My name now is Cynthia Ogun from Fejiro Union. I don dey Lapo for over 17 years now. I joined Lapo since year 2001. And since then when I don join Lapo, I be just that I never really get something when I dey do. But when I dey Lapo over the years, as I dey collect from them, I dey pay back from through Lapo now. I don become my own business owner. I dey supply cellophane, oil, pure water, and my place of chop dey for Ugbomoro in Uwie local government area, Efru. Then at least Lapo not only make me to be a business owner, they also make me to be one of their agents. As I dey right now, I be Lapo agent and I be council leader for Warri 1. Na maybe their council leader. After how many years when I joined Lapo, something can happen to me. The reason why they use that word is that because when that thing happen, if not be by the grace of God and with Lapo when I dey inside, maybe by now for not know where I dey. Because when they thief that money from my hand, over 9 million naira and I go. So at the start, I first say, I won't take one. But when I look back, I look God and I say, yes, Lapo dey there for me. Small, I dey collect. But right now, through the Lapo, at least by God's grace, my daughter and I don't dey university.
small time after I go here and I go come say I don't still get one graduate for my house through the help of lapo as I dey borrow and I dey pay back. And through lapo, even that money when I lost I no comot for business, I still dey business by God's grace. Lapo still help me through that area also. Then our house, if na through lapo, by the grace of God, we don still get our land, we don dey see dey develop, we don go far, and we don almost finish am to remain small to go. So na through the help of lapo, when I dey inside dey collect their money dey pay back. Lapo don try for the life of so many women for this country Nigeria, because this lapo of a thing when they dey talk so, e don raise so many women from the dust. When you say dust, through the help of lapo don make so many women for this country. Like women wey no get wetin dem dey do when they just sit down for house. In my own little way, when I go still get one-on-one dey talk, I don dey tell dem say e no good for any woman to sit down say e no dey do anything, because only the man no go fit carry the load of the house. Then another thing, so many women when they hear the name lapo, they go say lapo na no go fit do this, but I go come make them understand say lapo no dey as they take dey think am. Say if you go into lapo, say you collect your small money, say say dey do your business, when that day reach you go pay am, before you look you don comot for the dust when you dey turn to another level. And I still wan say advise so many women make dem come into lapo, come know more about lapo. Say lapo dey give, when you enter lapo you go fit enter with small amount, then you go come out with wetin great amount.
Welcome back from Faces of Lapo. For those for entrepreneurs who are unable to get funding for their businesses, you can do that through a Lapo Microfinance Bank. You can get funds for your business. You can get financial support for your business simply by calling the numbers on the screen to get all the information you need on how to partner with Lapo Microfinance Bank. All right, Doctor. Lastly, let's look at the way forward for our PSC.
All right, thank you very much. Now, the way forward is that everyone has to come on board to play its role, but government has a major role to play in ensuring that our PSCs are functional and deliver the goods to our people, because that is the foundation of healthcare in any society. Like I've said before, that the healthcare personnel and the physical infrastructure needs to be in place to be able to deliver health services to our populace. We need to engage the communities more. We need to let them own the PHCs, because if we just build facilities and put people there and we don't engage the communities, they may not utilize those facilities to the best way they could have used it. So we need to reach out to the heads of various communities, have outreaches to their people, let them know what we're doing, get their input in whatever we are doing, so that they own these health facilities, and then they can utilize these health facilities, they can protect these health facilities in the PHC level, and then we will not have so many people crowding out our secondary and tertiary health facilities, and then those primary health facilities can deliver primary health care services to the people at the grassroots, and that will help our health system a lot.
All right, thank you very much, Doctor, for taking our time to come on the program this morning.
All right, thank you very much for having me.
We've been talking about how we can reposition the primary healthcare system for optimal and maximal service delivery. And I would like to say here that the delivery of quality primary healthcare services can have a huge impact on the health of Nigerians. And so to this end, we are calling on all stakeholders, including the government, the civil society organizations, and non-governmental organizations, to work in synergy as we strive to achieve an effective primary care system, which is very critical for any nation. That has been on the program for today. If you want to contact us, you can do that through our social media handles. You can also reach us through text messages, or you can call any of the numbers on the screen You can also visit us at any of our offices or our corporate head office at number 18 Johnson Road Initiative. We will come your way.
Yes, dear viewers, we hope you have enjoyed every beat of the program Saturday Morning Treat on OSBC Television. Iliawiye Okebale Oshobo. We have brought you topics of national interest, and our guests have been able to do justice to the topics dispassionately. We had Honorable Jomi Olaumi talking about the AP, they just concluded APC presidential primaries, and we have Comrade Wahid Lawal talking about June 12 and its prospects, and they just concluded sponsored program on SMT. We hope you have enjoyed it, and we hope to bring you another edition of the program next week by the special grace of God. To be top.
On behalf of the producer of Saturday Morning Treats, Oladayo Olanipekun, and the assistant producer, Abdul-Jalil Adebisi, and to all those who have contributed to the success of the program this morning, we appreciate you. Until next week, when we shall be coming with another fresh edition of Saturday Morning Treats. Till meet up with Abdulkarim is my name.
I am Babatunde Bolatito saying, by the special grace of God, see you next week.
Àkísà ńlọmọ rí o, ó dọ̀rọ̀ àgbààgbà o, ó dẹrù fọlọ́gbọ́n, ó dọ̀wọ́ àwọn àgbà ó dẹrù fọlọ́gbọ́n. Àlàáfíà mo ní tẹ́ ẹ bá débẹ̀ ẹ bá mi kí wọn o, gbogbo wa la ó fayọ̀ délé, ẹ bá mi kí wọn o, gbogbo wa la ó fayọ̀ délé wa, mo ní tẹ́ ẹ bá rí o, ẹ bá ń káwé róyìn o, ọmọge awẹ́lẹ̀ wa tó ń dá wa lọ́rùn o, ilé owó ni ó wọ̀ ṣáyà. Ilé ọlá ni ó wọ̀ ṣáyà o. tó lẹ́wà ìwúrí òbí ni wọ́n máa jẹ́ o mọ́bìnrin tó gbẹ́kọ̀ tó mú lò orí rẹ̀ dára orí rẹ̀ sùn kò dàbí fẹ́ olórí ọkọ orí rẹ̀ dára orí rẹ̀ sùn kò dàbí fẹ́ o. ìkòkò tó fọ ìṣòwò àmúṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ìkòkò tó fọ ìṣòwò àmútólé o ìkòkò tó fọ ìṣòwò àmúrodò ìkòkò àbúfọ ìṣòwò àmúyangàn ìbàdí àràndẹ ni àmúṣe yẹ̀yẹ́ o bí ẹyẹ tí ò lápá ìbàdí àràndẹ ni àmúṣe yẹ̀yẹ́ o. Obama ìlọ Obama ìlọ dúró ṣe ohun obìnrin ṣe. Obama ìlọ àwẹ̀rọ Obama ìlọ báyé ṣe ohun obìnrin ṣe o. Ò bá dúró fi inú ṣoyún. Dúró ṣe ohun obìnrin ṣe o. Ò bá gbáyé fẹ̀yìn gbọ́mọpọ̀n. Báyé ṣe ohun obìnrin ṣe o. Obama ìlọ àwẹ̀rọ Obama ìlọ báyé ṣe ohun obìnrin ṣe. Obama ìlọ àwẹ̀rọ Obama ìlọ dúró ṣe ohun obìnrin ṣe o. O ìlú àlàáfíà mo ní tẹ́ ẹ bá débẹ̀ ẹ mọ̀ bá mi kí wọn o gbogbo wa la ó fayọ̀ délé gbogbo wa la ó fayọ̀ délé wa mo ní tẹ́ ẹ bá débẹ̀ ẹ bá ń káwé róyẹn o ọmọge awẹ́lẹ̀ wa ti ń dá wa lọ́rùn o ilé owó ni ó wọ̀ ṣáyà ilé ọ̀la ni ó wọ̀ ṣáyà o ilé owó ni ó wọ̀ ṣáyà. Ilé ọ̀la ni ó wọ̀. Ilé owó ni ó wọ̀. Ọ̀la ni ó wọ̀.
The grass is greener on the other side. That's what I thought before I took the ride. I burned my bridges so I'd never look back. But if I had known the life I was searching for was looking me right in the eye, oh. If I had known the life I was searching for was already my own.